Hi, I'm John Davis, and this is MotorWeek. We're getting the band back together for a tour of the new Audi A5. Then we'll prep for automotive hibernation with long-term storage solutions. We'll charge into a six-pack workout with an all-new quick spin, ending with a diesel-powered high roller, the Chevrolet Suburban. So come drive with us next.
MotorWeek, 45 years steering you in the right direction.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
Audi likes to keep us on our toes. It wasn't enough that there were already coupe, hatchback, and convertible versions of the A5 to keep track of. Now there's an all-new A5, which is still a 5-door hatchback, yet Audi calls it a sedan, designed to replace the A4 in their lineup. Are you still with me? Well, let's take a deep dive into this new A5 and sort it all out.
With an all-new third-generation 2025 Audi A5 comes a new mission. No longer the sidekick of the A4 and A6, it now looks to combine its coupe style with A4 sensibility and hold down the small sedan space in the lineup. So what was the A5 Sportback is now just the A5, and it's bigger in every dimension over last gen.
And no matter what you call it, we love the flexibility and the accessibility of the hatch. It's got a nice wide opening and you can just fit things in it that you couldn't in a 4-door.
It may look a little less sporty than the Sportback, but it's also a lot classier than the A4, with smoother body panels and less aggressiveness all around.
I'm not sure what's wrong with normal door handles that we have to be getting rid of them, but add Audi to the list using electric switches. I mean, they do look pretty good, but in use, our staff has mixed opinions.
Now, Americans don't traditionally buy a lot of hatchbacks unless you call them SUVs, but will buy just about anything if it looks cool enough. This Horizon Blue Metallic is not the most exciting of colors, but it speaks to Audi's philosophy of understated design. Now inside, that's a whole different story.
In here, there is a rather tall housing with 2 huge screens. This one right here in front of me has all the driver info. It's what we used to call gauges. This one has all your usual multimedia info. There's even one over here on the dash for the passenger too. The sunroof has a digital shade, so by using the button up here, you can let all the light in, you can let just some light in segments, and even though the roof doesn't physically open or close, the sequencing makes it look like it does.
For the hearing senses, you can get 810 watts of 3D surround sound with up to 20 speakers, 4 of which are integrated into the front headrests. An active LED light bar runs along the base of the windshield, and there's a head-up display that's 85% bigger than last year. It's a lot of tech, but most of it is very intuitive to operate, and practical too.
And you're certainly aware of it all while you're driving. For example, here on the dash, we have a light bar that sort of serves as an internal indicator when your turn signals are active, and it'll also show certain safety things. It's actually pretty cool. What's trippy are the headrest speakers. When you have the navigation system active, it'll actually relay directions to you through the headrest. It sounds kind of cool in theory, and it is in practice, but sometimes it can also be a little jarring. Now, as for the head-up display, lots of information here and lots of really crisp animations, but even that can get a little distracting. Now, under the hood, no surprises there. We've got a 2-liter turbo 4. This Volkswagen family power plant continues to impress us. Here in the A5, that's 268 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, which is a good place for this to be. It's not going to run out from underneath of you. It's certainly not unwieldy, but it's enough power to get you going with ease. You don't feel like you're stressing the engine out, and when the occasion for fun arises, it certainly obliges.
If those numbers aren't high enough for you, the S5 uses Audi's V6 turbo for 362 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. But for most people, this 4 is enough, and it certainly got the job done at the track, getting to 60 in 5.9 seconds and through the quarter mile in 14.4 seconds at 99 miles per hour.
Aside from a somewhat firm shift into second, the launch in the A5 is relatively drama-free, and the same can be said for the traction. It hooks up with ease, but with respectable numbers like that, it's plenty quick. Now through our cone course, that's where you can find some extra drama. I've got the TCS in sport mode, and for the most part, this all-wheel drive system will keep you on line. But if you lift off that throttle, you can cop some serious oversteer, which to me is just a good time.
Braking performance was solid too, with straight and true stops from 60 averaging just 107 feet, and we experienced very little nosedive.
Diving into those all-important government fuel economy ratings, they are 22 city, 31 highway, and 26 combined. Our average was right on at 26.3 miles per gallon of premium. And that's an average energy impact score with 11.4 barrels of oil consumption and 5.8 tons of CO2 emissions annually. A5 pricing starts with premium trim at $50,995. Next up is Premium Plus at $54,595. And our Prestige test car tops the lineup at $57,445. Audi has always seemed to be more about impressing their owners than onlookers. But as the 2025 A5 has made a move from sidekick to the main attraction, it's gotten more appealing to both.
The 2000 Qvale Mangusta will turn heads and raise a few questions. The number one being, what is it? In 1998, the Qvale Automotive Group signed an agreement with De Tomaso to begin manufacturing a new Mangusta. This one designed by Marcello Gandini, designer of the Lamborghini Countach and Diablo, and also build the car in Modena, Italy. The surprise we mentioned earlier. It's Ford's 4.6-liter twin-cam 32-valve V8. And with 320 horsepower and 314 pound-feet of torque, it propelled the Mangusta to 60 in 5.7 seconds and on through the quarter mile in 14.3 seconds at 101 miles per hour. Whether you drive the latest car model or something older, maximizing range or fuel economy mostly comes down to good driving behavior, knowing your vehicle, and keeping it in good running condition. Well, our resident fuel miser, Jessica Ray, is here now with some common sense tips for maxing out your miles per dollar.
Now, we're going to talk mainly about ICE-engined vehicles here. And one of the first fuel-saving decisions you can make is when buying your vehicle. Compare fuel economy ratings between. Does the model you want offer a hybrid option? Do you really need that V8? Or will a 6 or even 4-cylinder engine meet your needs? Choosing a more efficient powertrain can net big savings at every fuel stop, and also on every month's insurance bill.
Of course, the fuel you choose can have a big impact on the bottom line too. Unless your car requires premium fuel, choosing a lower grade won't affect your vehicle's performance under normal driving conditions. And the pennies per gallon add up quickly.
If you have a flex fuel vehicle and E85 is sold in your area, it can be a cheaper option. But you'll need to do the math, since E85 packs less energy density than regular gasoline, so it delivers about 20% less MPG. Still, if the price of E85 is significantly lower than conventional gasoline, as it often is, it will be the cheaper and greener way to go. Let's start with a trick that anyone can do: weight savings. Start by opening the trunk and cleaning out the junk. Every 100 pounds of extra weight decreases fuel economy by 2%, and this affects smaller, less powerful vehicles more than larger ones. So don't stress your little engine out by hauling around extra cargo. If you have a ski rack or cargo carrier that isn't being used, consider removing it. These add-ons increase weight, add aerodynamic drag, and decrease fuel economy. Regularly check your tire pressure. Underinflated tires flatten out more, increasing the tire's footprint. This larger contact patch creates more rolling resistance against the road surface, forcing your engine to use more fuel to keep the car moving. It's not uncommon to find tires underinflated by 10 psi, and that alone can rob 2% of your fuel economy.
Now, once you're on the road, there's a number of things you can do to keep your MPGs in the green.
Constant braking and rapid acceleration can drain your tank quicker, and idling can use 1/4 to a half gallon of fuel per hour depending on engine size and which accessories are running. So planning around traffic jams can increase your economy and reduce your stress level. If you drive a plug-in hybrid, keeping that EV battery topped off will return 15 to 60 miles of electric-only driving per charge, depending on your model. That translates to free, gas-free driving every day. For all hybrids and EVs, make the most of regenerative braking and coasting to keep returning that captured energy to the batteries. This can also prolong the life of your brake pads. Lastly, if your car has an eco mode, try it out. This setting limits hard acceleration, cuts power delivery, adjusts shift mapping, and more. Pay attention to how this changes the driving dynamics, and partner with your car to drive more efficiently.
We love to see a project car out on the road, but sometimes they need a break. Or perhaps it's time for your summer cruiser to enter winter hibernation. Well, here's Giuseppe Iatarola with tips on storing your car long-term on MotorWeek's Your Drive.
I may be young, but I love classic cars, like this 1962 Cadillac Eldorado convertible. This car does not like the winter due to slush, snow, and rainy weather. This car wants to be driven in the summer. If you want your classic car to last, do it a favor. Prep it to park it. Before parking your car into storage, you want to check your fluids, starting off with coolant. Now, even though you are parking your car, you want to still have coolant for freeze protection and the pH acidity. To check those, use the coolant strips. Now, as you can see, this car failed the tests and needs some attention. The next thing you want to check is your oil. You want to do a nice oil change with a fresh filter and don't overfill. And for your gas tank, you want to add a fuel stabilizer to prevent gumming and varnishing. Now for the battery tender, you want to disconnect the battery or use a battery maintainer to prevent it from draining, unlike regular battery charger. A maintainer will cycle on and off to manage charge consistently at 12 volts. Make sure to cover the exhaust pipe and air inlet to keep critters out. Flat spots on tires on the classic cars is a big problem when you put them into storage. If you're driving your car and your car is vibrating, that may be flat spots on your tires. Now, there are a couple ways to fix this problem. The old school way is jack stands. You put the jack stands under the control arm to keep the body compressed on the springs and the wheels off the ground. Now, the more modern way is the tire cradles. It cushions the tires to prevent flat spots. When your car is in storage, car covers are highly recommended. It protects the paint from scratches, dents, and dust. Regularly check for moisture or pests. Periodically start the car to circulate the fluids and warm up the engine. These tips will help ensure that your classic car will be ready to hit the road. The longer you need to store your car, the more prep it will need. For longer-term storage, consider a fogging spray. That will protect the internal engine parts with a non-corrosive coating. A good old-fashioned wash and wax job will remove all surface contaminants, nourish the paint, and protect it from the elements. Grab a grease gun and hit all the suspension fittings, metal on metal, joints, and bearings. If you have any questions or comments, reach out to us here at MotorWeek.
Now here's Stephanie Hart with the headlines and this week's Motor News.
The closing weeks of 2025 were filled with news, starting with the LA Auto Show. First, the 2027 Kia Telluride, available with its first hybrid powertrain. Rated at 329 horsepower and an estimated 600 miles of range. Hyundai showcased two performance models, The TCR edition gives the Elantra N extra aero elements and carbon fiber components. The Ioniq 6N is their second electric N car, capable of 641 horsepower with its boost feature active. We also had a chance to scope out the new Jeep Recon, the brand's first trail-rated EV. It's not quite an electric Wrangler, but the Recon gets close, thanks to removable doors and windows. The Moab trim starting price of $65,000 could be better. Its 650 horsepower and 620 pound-feet of torque, however, is great. Nissan dropped some big headlines. A new Xterra SUV has been confirmed. Body on frame and supposedly arriving sooner than we think. An e-powered Rogue will also make its way to market. Borrowing from their global products, it will drive like an EV, propelled solely by electric motors, its engine only used as a generator for the battery. The 2026 Nissan Rogue PHEV will get a hybrid to market even quicker. By Badge Engineering, its Mitsubishi Outlander relative more than ever. Its 2.4-liter inline-4 hybrid is good for 248 horsepower and an estimated range north of 400 miles. And Toyota unveiled their new flagship performance models. The GR GT is powered by a twin-turbo, hybrid-assisted 4-liter V8, targeting well over 600 horsepower. Meanwhile, Lexus showcased a new battery electric LFA concept. Not much by way of confirmed specs, but the blend of style and supercar-like performance is spot on. And that's it for this week's Motor News.
It's pedal down and away we go with this week's Quick Spin.
This 8th Gen 2026 Dodge Charger isn't exactly new, but what brought us to Knoxville, Tennessee was a new and long-awaited internal combustion powertrain, the SIXPACK. It will be sold alongside of the existing Charger EV. Like a fad diet, this six-pack is carb-free. Today's six-pack refers to the twin-turbocharged 3-liter inline-6 under the hood, the Hurricane. This Scat Pack's high-output version pushes 550 horsepower and 531 pound-feet of torque through an 8-speed automatic to a standard all-wheel drive system. Later, the RT will utilize a 420 horsepower, 468 pound-foot standard output Hurricane. Dodge claims a 0 to 60 time of 3.9 seconds and a quarter-mile time of 12.2 seconds, which we got a taste of during 8th-mile runs on Knoxville Dragway. The real challenge was taking this 4,800-pound American muscle machine through the tight curves of Tail of the Dragon.
Now on this road, you are very aware of its size. This new Charger 6-pack, it's a large vehicle. It's over 200 inches long on a 121-inch wheelbase. And Dodge prides themselves on this thing practically being a wide body in of itself. It's about 80 inches wide. That's a big vehicle, and it's heavy. You're gonna feel some of that roll. You're gonna feel that weight transfer. These are all sort of classic muscle car traits, but they're not quite as exacerbated as they would be in maybe the prior generation.
Moving to open asphalt, and at the press of a button, all power can be sent rearwards. Perfect for donuts, drifts, and just having fun. And this fun will start at about $52,000 for the RT. The Scat Pack will come first though, around $57,000. And the all-electric Daytona is still charged up, starting around $62,000. Add $2,000 for a 4-door model of either. Even without a Hemi V8, the 2026 Dodge Charger 6-pack checks off many of the muscle car musts. We'll have a full review and more quick spins soon.
The Chevrolet Suburban has a lot on its brawny shoulders. It's part of the industry's best-selling full-size SUV lineup with 90 years of production history over 12 generations. Well, things don't do that well for that long without constant improvement. So let's check in with the latest Suburban to see what's new. The Chevrolet Suburban has been the ultimate carry-all vacation vehicle and puller of family toys for decades, establishing the truck-based utility formula that only a few brands still follow today. In its 12th generation since 2021, 2025 models get a timely round of updates outside and inside, along with an option for something a little extra under the hood. If you need interior space and don't want a minivan, this is where it's at. There's plenty of room for adults to spread out in all 3 rows of seating, and while it is a big climb up into the cabin, a wide and comfortable throne is your reward. Infotainment is displayed on a new 17.7-inch touchscreen. It's very intuitive, easy on the eyes, and quick to respond. With the optional rear seat media system, second-row passengers get some big screens of their own, which can be used for streaming your favorite programs on Tubi. All trims except for High Country get a 355 horsepower pushrod 5.3-liter V8 with the option to upgrade to the High Country's 420 horsepower 6.2-liter V8. New for 25 is this optional second-gen Duramax diesel. It can be added to any trim except base LS, and just about everything has been upgraded in this 3-liter inline 6. New pistons, improved cooling, upgraded turbo compressor, new fuel injectors, and revised intake. And while most changes were designed to improve efficiency and increase refinement, horsepower climbs 10% to 305, and torque is increased from 460 to 495 pound-feet. There's more towing tech to help make the chore easier, including boat ramp assist, trailer navigation, and forward path detection that overlays guidelines on the camera display based on overall length of truck and trailer. Even if towing is not on your to-do list, the diesel's fuel efficiency is a real bonus, not to mention the smooth, low RPM, effortless highway cruising and more than 600 miles of range per tank. Government fuel economy ratings with four-wheel drive are 20 city, 26 highway, and 22 combined. We average 20.4 miles per gallon. That's a slightly below average energy impact score of 16.2 barrels of yearly oil use with 7.5 tons of CO2 emissions. The Suburban suspension has also seen some revisions for 25, mostly to benefit refinement, and on the highways and byways, it does indeed feel very smooth and quiet. But if you need a reminder that it's still a truck on a real frame, a handling course is where to do it. Though the Burb's rear multi-link suspension has truly come a long way over the years. It actually felt quite nimble through the cones for such a large vehicle. Our High Country was of course aided by both magnetic ride control and air ride adaptive suspension. Brakes have over 6,000 pounds to deal with, but do so fantastically, stopping abruptly in just 112 feet from 60. The High Country did lumber off the line and clattered its way to 60 in 7.7 seconds, and while it felt slow, those numbers are not bad at all for a big SUV and only about half a second off what we got with the 6.2-liter V8 back in 21. The quarter mile passed in 16 seconds at 87 miles per hour. Updates to the exterior are pretty minimal, mostly just a revised face with updated lighting to give it a different look than Silverado. The High Country's chic includes black accents and Galvano chrome, along with 24-inch wheels. Pricing still starts reasonably enough at $65,095. High Country tops the lineup at $84,795. The diesel is about a $5,000 option on most trims, though it's actually a discount in top High Country, coming in $1,500 less than the 6.2-liter V8. Over the years, the Chevrolet Suburban has become iconic. Just seeing one brings back memories of childhood vacations, towing the RV or boat for many people. But the 2025 Chevrolet Suburban is much less about nostalgia and much more about delivering the most modern full-size body-on-frame sport utility on the planet. Well, that's our show. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, for more MotorWeek, including daily news updates, podcasts, and even complete episodes, cruise on over to pbs.org/MotorWeek. And I hope you'll join us next time for the middleweight entry of Cadillac's new electric lineup, the Vistic, followed by a compact Euro saloon, the Audi A3. We'll look back at a track showdown of two V8 Sport Coupes and go over the edge to a Michigan car show you'll be sorry you missed. Till then, I'm John Davis. We'll see you right here on MotorWeek.
To learn more about MotorWeek, television's original automotive magazine, visit pbs.org/MotorWeek.
The MotorWeek app, which includes our latest reviews and feature stories, is now available for mobile devices.
MotorWeek is proudly sponsored by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper, a nationwide network of stores and shops providing major brand auto and truck parts and service from coast to coast and in your local community. Service is the difference. We get it. Learn more at autovalue.com and bumpertobumper.com.
We're Tire Rack. We test tires and share our results. We stock over 1 million tires. We offer multiple installation options. We do this because we believe tires matter. TireRack.com.
This program was produced by Maryland Public Television, which is solely responsible for its content.
You're watching PBS.